Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Shelbyville Now Weekend Wrap-Up Show. I'm David Thomas. Sitting across from me is Mr. Josh Blevins. Josh, it's been another nice week. Not a whole lot of stuff going on, but we've got a lot to talk about.
We've got a lot to talk about. A short week because Labor Day,
Yeah.
so there's not a whole lot of meetings, but we may or may not go off on a rabbit trail or two. It happens.
Rabbits happen, man.
They happen, but we're here. It's raining. I got my my Southern Cup here. You know, it's a good Saturday here in Shelbyville.
Yeah, I got mine, but I didn't get out the Southern Cup this morning. I was pushed for time, and I stopped at Crystal and got my coffee and treats.
So unfortunate.
Yes, yeah. It's a rough life.
Yeah.
All right. Before we dive into things, let's hear from our sponsor, Dennis Young Insurance and Leverage Power Washing. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty. Welcome back into the weekend wrap-up show here on Shelbyville Now. Josh, why don't you dive into whatever happened on Tuesday after Labor Day?
After Labor Day, yeah. Well, and after the horse show, I guess we should say
Yeah.
Saturday was the big grand finale of the horse show. I went and watched. I couldn't bring myself to go at 7 and stay the whole time. I would have been napping there on the rail. So we went about 9 o'clock, stayed till about 12:30 when things wrapped up.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had been. You know, this year was the first time at all, but obviously the first time I've been to the finale. And from what I heard from everybody, it was maybe the highest attended Saturday.
Probably in 20 years.
Yeah, I heard about since 2006 or so. There haven't been any official numbers yet.
2006, you were almost at capacity.
Yeah.
And we were, I would say, 3/4 at capacity this time. So it's probably the highest it's been.
Yeah, there were long lines at the donut booth. If
Yeah,
you wanted
they sold
donuts
out,
on the
didn't
they probably did because it was wrapped up around down the street past Champions Arena somewhere off in
But
the
let
dark.
me ask you something, Josh. How in the world did you get that seat where you were? Was that like pre-planned? I mean, you're sitting right when they call out the World Grand Champion. You got some of the best.
We were right
This is historical what happened.
Yeah.
The fist bump and John Allen Calloway coming out on Justified Honors and his brother stepping out and you catching that on video, it's gone viral, man.
Yeah, so it helped to have the city box seat. So
is that where you were?
Yeah,
okay.
it was the city's tickets.
But
So,
the picture you took, it looked like he was talking to you at that time. And
we talked to a couple of them.
Yeah.
A couple of them would sit right there in front of us. We talked to them a little bit. So it was a good time and great turnout and the weather was phenomenal. So for that time of year, it was just perfect. So
that video's got 250,000 views, I think, at this point.
Yeah, quite a few. So
I know that's a unique perspective to see that.
Yeah, and for the first time too. So it was a good time. So, but after that, took some time off for Labor Day weekend. Then Tuesday was the majority of our meetings we're going to talk about today. Tuesday afternoon was the County Finance Committee. This was a makeup meeting from the week before because Horse Show Week, they couldn't quite get a quorum together.
Yeah.
So, and actually part of the discussion at this meeting was, and honestly, I don't remember if they approved this or not. I think they might have, was going forward on Horse Show Week, they're not going to have county finance meetings.
That's a good
Horse Show
plan.
Week.
That's a good
They're
plan.
going to start having them now the first Tuesday of September. That way it gets out of the way of the horse show.
Right.
So a couple items that came up at that meeting. They gave out the financial reports. These are the July reports, so there's no revenue on there yet. The way that revenue gets reported, it doesn't start showing up till August. However, they can go ahead and start spending money. And I did notice that the debt service account, they went ahead and spent all $7 million of capital projects right out of the gate on month one. So
so
that was something that was something new in the budget this year, and they went ahead and moved forward with that like probably July 1st or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened quick.
Write the checks.
Write the checks. The jail. This was the big discussion. The jail is currently getting $44 a day for state inmates.
Okay,
Um,
Josh, I got to get an ink pen because I'm gonna have to do a little math
Oh, you
here.
gotta do math?
I got to do
Okay.
math right here.
Okay,
Well, I
so-
might not have to have an ink pen to do math on this one. Go ahead.
Maybe I'll do it in your head. So, but they're getting $44 a day. That's about to go up to $46 a day.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, going
What
way
a
up.
raise!
Yeah, way up. However, in addition to state inmates, which they have to house,
Why do they have to house them? That's a question. Why?
because they're the state and you do what they tell you to.
Really, we're
Yeah.
beholden to the state now.
We're beholden to the state. We're not the only one. We'll talk about a couple other counties.
But
that have brought
okay,
this
all
up
right,
this
all
week.
right.
But
Well,
yeah,
this
we're beholden
the
to the state.
topic, and they're not even going to cover our expenses.
They don't cover our expenses. So, but in addition to state inmates, we are currently, or we can house out of county inmates if another county has a capacity issue, if
okay.
they've got a certification issue, and
So-
we don't have a policy currently for that.
So we don't have a set rate for those.
We do not have a set rate for those. They received something from the jail asking to just set that rate at the state rate. But the
Oh,
finance
no,
committee
no.
said, whoa, hold
no,
on.
that's
that
a bad.
doesn't cover
no,
costs.
no. All right. So if the state is going to dictate to you what you're going to do here, and they tell you what you're going to do it for,
Yeah,
okay, your county, you got to at least break even or make some money on it.
correct. So they're going to look at what our rate is. A couple other counties brought this up this week. There actually was a series, I think Fox 17 did it on two other. Rutherford County Jail, which is currently overcrowded, they built that to hold 500 inmates. They ran out of capacity, so they added bunk beds. So they now have a capacity of 977. But as of the end of August, they were sitting at 1,009 inmates in custody. Of those, 229 were put on them by the state.
Well, that's where the state's got to pull off of that.
Yeah, and their cost, they've calculated their cost. Rutherford County, it cost them $93 a day to house an inmate. They're only getting 41, where we're getting
Huh.
44. So they're losing, do the math there, what, $52 a day for each of these 229 inmates from the state?
Okay, based on what I see, Josh, the state of Tennessee sweats money. Okay, I mean they've got our sales
They can
tax
afford to pay.
is the absolute highest in the country. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't have an income tax, and oh boy, that's great, but we get hammered every time we go to the cash register and pay for something. The state of Tennessee could pay out more to these counties, and Rutherford County wouldn't be sitting where they are, and we're headed down the same path if we're not careful. You know,
And Davidson has the same thing. They're showing 140 state inmates. Their cost is higher. They're in a metro area, so they're paying higher, higher real
Right.
estate, higher employees. They're $140 a day, and they're still only getting the $41 a day from the state. So they're actually, we're talking, Davidson County was talking about maybe some of us counties need to get together and, God forbid, sue the state or do something to force the state into raising
this
these
is not
rates.
hard
Yeah.
to figure out what our cost to house an inmate is. Okay,
Yeah.
we take our capacity, we take our expenses, we divide it.
Divide
Okay,
it,
we
do the
know
math.
exactly. All
Yeah.
right, and then you got to figure out do a 30-year amortization on the property
on the real estate.
and figure that as part of your cost in there. And I promise you, it's more than $44 a day,
It's more than
Josh.
$44 a day. So, at least on the county inmates that we're going to house from other counties, our finance director is going to go do that math that you're
Okay,
talking
why
about.
don't we already have this math in place? We should know what it cost us.
Well,
or-
he just didn't know off the top of his head. At a
Okay,
meeting
well,
he
that's
wasn't
all right.
expecting
So,
it. But yeah, he
so
will have that
we,
next
we,
month.
we need to
Yeah.
all of us know what that is. I mean,
Yeah.
even citizens of Bedford County need to know how far we're going in the hole when we're taking the state.
It'll be public next month, and then they're going to set a contract that if you're from another county and want to send an inmate here, you have to sign this contract and pay this rate, which is going to be
I would
much
put a
higher than the
markup.
state
I
rate.
would put a markup on our cost. If I'd say our cost is probably $95 to $100.
Probably
okay.
$90.
Okay, all right. So I would say it's $125 a day. Take it or leave it.
yeah, they did mention. I don't think they're allowed to make a profit, so they've got to have a justification for the numbers. So, they
Well,
have
we
to-
can make the numbers come out to 125.
You could
the
do the
cost.
math.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
you're gonna look at this, and there's gonna be something missed in your cost. You're gonna miss it. You're gonna oh wow, I forgot about maintenance. Oh
Right.
my goodness,
Yeah.
But all this comes into play, and the taxpayers are paying for it. Okay,
We are.
me and you are paying.
Yeah,
for
the
this.
local taxpayers are subsidizing the
So-
state in this case.
Yes, I mean
So,
it needs to be the other way around.
Yeah, the state has more money than we do.
Yeah,
So,
it's awful.
yeah,
Okay, but
so-
this is something that this comes up every year or so when we start talking about housing inmates.
Yeah.
and it's a joke that we get $44. That's a joke.
Right, because you can't do it for that. So not even close.
No.
Yeah.
And you look at Rutherford County, it's put them in a mess.
They're looking at having to expand their jail based on the fact that they're housing too many state inmates. So I'd be asking the state for some of that money to build the new jail. So,
Shoot, yeah, man.
yeah, maybe all that money. So Tuesday, same day, left that meeting and went to the city council study session where we got a couple pieces of information about what's going on in the city. Our local option sales tax revenue is up. I put a 6.3% number here, which I think was given out, but actually we got a final report yesterday, and I believe we were closer to 10% above budget for last year. So I'll dig more into those budget numbers next week. I didn't have time to get those in place.
So you're saying our sales tax is helping us out some here.
It is, yeah. Our tax revenue is up. Actually, our overall revenue came in well above budget last year. I believe the total number in the city, we came in 10% above budget on our revenue.
Well,
for last year.
keep underestimating income because you got to do that to have that cushion.
Yeah, well, because as we've talked about, we were already going in.
Yeah, you're getting critical.
Yeah. We had a developer come that's looking to develop the old Aramark building, which I guess there might be some chemicals and stuff left around in there, depending on what went on in there.
Cleaning.
So,
They did a lot of cleaning stuff in there and so forth.
So they're trying to get us a grant from the state of $100,000. The city won't be on the hook for any money, but the state will only give the grant to the city, not to the developer. So basically, the attorneys are just looking at that, and we may have a vote on that next week as far as whether it would just be a pass-through grant. The developer will get the money. He can use that to help check the building out and make sure what it needs to be rehabbed before it can be used again, as far as chemicals and EPA and whatnot. So if you look on our Facebook page, a couple posts before the video you're watching now, I did a post about the Levitt Music Series. We're looking to get a grant for the city to bring in live concerts just on or off the square there. And voting opens September 5th. It's open through September 15th. And they are going to award these grants partially based on our ranking in this online voting.
Okay, so if we get a grant like that, where would we have this concert?
The talk is to have it in the new River Overlook district if it's ready in time. It would depend on when the concert
we don't have
is.
that yet, though.
It's not built yet. So
when's that target date?
God only knows.
A few years down the road.
It keeps pushing. So if that weren't ready, I would assume they would have it on the square to start with and eventually move.
Like in the courthouse yard, probably.
Yeah, where we've had that, like the Christmas thing happen there. We've had other events there. So, but it would be downtown. It would be free outdoor music event, different types of music. This particular voting, they mentioned at the council meeting, vote early and often, but this is one where it's tied to a email address or phone number, which they verify. You can only vote once for us. So you can't vote 10 times for Shelbyville. You can't even vote 10 different days for Shelbyville.
Yeah.
So, but do go in there and vote. And you can get all your relatives that live way out of town. If you want to tell them to vote for us, they're welcome to. You don't have to live in Shelbyville to vote. So, hopefully we'll get that. And then we're also applying at the same time for a TAP grant, which is to help with the cost overruns on the River Overlook project. We came in well over $1 million upside down on that project. It's supposed to go to construction next year, but we need to find some more grant money to help cover those costs because if not, local taxpayers are going to be on the hook. So we are going to be applying for that grant. And then we're also applying for a TDOT grant that I hear we get every year. This is just a regular one. We're going to get another $20,000 for road maintenance.
I was about to ask, Josh, we're getting grants for entertainment everywhere. How are we pursuing grants? And this answers my question. We get a grant, $20,000 for road maintenance.
Yeah.
We could use probably a couple million.
We could, 20,000. That's like
grants?
5 potholes.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe 5 potholes.
5 potholes.
That's right. So we need grants for that more than we need grants for entertainment. Although that's good.
That's good. That's going to bring people in.
But
we need
are there
both,
a lot of grants out there available, Josh? You would know or probably have heard of them for infrastructure improvement. I know there's got to be grants all over the place because I see that as our number one priority right now.
Right. I don't know if you remember, we talked about, I think last week or the week before, we've got we're building the Deary Street,
Right.
which you can see right now. That's a state
The
grant.
sidewalk that leads to nowhere.
The sidewalks to nowhere.
All right. Well, honestly, I'm trying to figure out
yeah.
why we got sidewalks
Madison
there.
Street. We got Madison Street coming next.
Okay,
That's,
what about like
similar? And
what
then Fairfield Pike, which is
okay.
taking 13 years,
All
but
right.
that will be.
Okay, but what about this?
An
The big
improvement.
issue
Yeah.
that you and I discussed last week.
Yeah.
We've got the pumps that are going to be taken care of hopefully this year.
Correct.
Okay, we got
Yeah.
the money for that.
We did
I
that.
mean-
That happened. Luckily, that
Right.
was COVID related or something.
Yes.
I think
All
those
right,
grants,
Grants for like we still have flume issues. Okay,
oh, we do.
we have
Yeah.
flume issues. That's a major deal. That's going to take some major money, and I hope we got some kind of grant applied for to help because this is a serious issue. We're talking about the collapse of Madison Street here.
Right
down the road
Yeah,
somewhere.
or Lane Parkway. I think, is
Yes,
where it
yes, yes.
collapsed
So we
last
have.
time.
So are there grants out there that a city like us that are, it's nip and tuck budget wise
right.
that we're never going to be able to just write a check for $100 million?
Well, hopefully the flume wouldn't be that much.
It
But yeah,
probably
we
would.
are. Yeah, TDOT is where we're getting all of those infrastructure grants because
Yeah.
that's basically the only one looking to help us with our infrastructure. So we're. I think any TDOT grant that comes open, we put our name in the hopper.
If we had to replace that entire flume, Josh,
it'd be expensive.
it's going to be $100 million.
It might be. Yeah, I think the last collapse was what, 4 or 5 million.
4 or 5 million, and it was
Yeah.
a patch. We
And that
put
was
a
just
Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, that was a section.
Now that
So,
I'm glad we got that Band-Aid, but
Yeah.
that's something also to, I think, looking 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And, I probably won't even be able to have a conversation about it in 15 years, but
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here looking at it today and I'm thinking my kids are going to be driving over this road right here. And there's one place in particular that scares me. And that's just going around the curve right before you get coming in from Tullahoma toward Kentucky Fried Chicken intersection there. The flume goes under Madison
Under
Street
Madison.
where that little
Yeah.
bridge is.
Yeah.
And then we've got all kinds of drainage issues on Madison Street. It's going to take some big time grants to fix that issue.
To fix all that. Yeah, it will. So hopefully the state steps up, but we will be applying for any and all those that come available. One additional thing we discussed that we will be voting on this week is some possible minor changes to the fireworks ordinance. Actually, this is one that I had brought to the table. We had an issue where we had tried to have a neighborhood fireworks show on a weekend, and the cutoff was exactly on July 4th. And if you went past 11:30 p.m. on July 4th, you weren't allowed to do anything beyond that. So
All right, Josh.
the extension is looking to go from July 1st through 7th. And while we were doing it, the fire chief stepped in and said, "Hey, there's nothing in there about burn bans, so we're going to make it so that if there's a burn ban in place, no fireworks in the city."
Okay, so here's where I get that window is real tight right now.
Yeah.
To loosen that up, here's where the battle's going to come. Every dog owner and horse owner, inside and outside the county,
It's
are
pets,
gonna
yeah.
be like, my dog's jumping out of his skin now. You're gonna make him do it for 3 more days. That's where the battle is. And
Right.
I remember years ago, Josh, we shot fireworks year round. when
Oh, yeah.
when I was a teenager.
Well, and I
we-
believe you still can in the county. This is only this
well,
only
this was in
affects
the city.
Yeah,
In the
this only
city, we
affects the
shot
city,
fireworks
yeah.
year round.
Right.
And our dogs just kind of like looked around. They enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened to our dogs.
Well, I don't know. I don't have dogs. I have cats. My cats don't like it either.
They don't-
But
yeah.
I don't think this is. I mean, nobody's going to go out and buy twice as many fireworks as before. This
No.
is just giving them different available days that
So
they
we
shoot
can
'em.
we
So
can hear the boom boom.
You're gonna hear. You're
Just
gonna
a
hear the
few more
same
days.
amount of fireworks as you did last year. I think.
Yeah,
It
just
might fall on a
stagger
different
that.
day, and,
Yeah.
and it's mainly if the 4th falls on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Not
that
everybody can
weird
get
calendar
off, yeah,
break.
during a weekday. That way they can still shoot them on a Friday or something. So, but we'll be discussing that this week at the meeting. And then the big one, this is the one that we put a poll out about this week.
It's still rolling, buddy.
It's still rolling. We're still getting I get comments every 5 minutes on my phone. on
I
this.
know. Yeah.
We are looking at possibly being the key phrase, making a Riverview Entertainment District, which would include allowing open containers of alcohol somewhere in the downtown area.
So this is kind of vague discussion at this point because it's going to be in the square, but you don't know the parameters.
Right.
At this
It
point.
actually, this week's upcoming council meeting, we won't even be discussing this again all. This was just a discussion point for the study session. The next place you'll hear about this will be the beer board is going to discuss it as far as the alcohol portion of it. And the planning commission this month will be discussing as far as whether or not to close Spring Street to vehicle traffic.
Right.
We've seen the comments. There have been so many comments.
Well, the poll basically is clear cut.
The poll was 80-20. Yeah, the poll
It's
was
clear
80-20.
cut. I voted no. Okay.
Yep.
Bo and I talked about this Thursday.
Yeah, I saw you guys talked about it.
And it gets down to this. You got 80% of the people. That's basically, I'm going to say 80% of the constituents in the city of Shelbyville would probably feel the same way as this. I mean, that's a good number on the poll. Well, we
Yeah.
got about 1,500 votes or so.
Yeah.
I think. All right. So as a city council person, I mean, you ask around in your ward, see how they feel. And no matter how you feel personally, you have to vote for them. Otherwise, you're not a representative. And that's the challenge I would put out to all representatives. I'm against it. But if 80% of the constituents that we represent, you have no choice but to vote for this. All right. So that comes down to, I've seen some comments on Facebook that they don't recognize. I mean, my feelings are number one. I get it because it's me. All right. So
Yeah.
but that's the mindset. And we have to be able to give and take. And I had rather see, okay, this go against my personal viewpoint. If the constituents of this city, that's the way they want it done, because that's where representative government kicks into gear and actually works. Okay. This is an example to set, I think, even though if I were a city council member, I'm not. And if 80% of my people, I'm not put there to vote my convictions or to vote my personal likes or dislikes. I'm there to represent those people. And this is the opportunity that everybody has. And I mentioned this Thursday. I think this is going to be one of those where there's going to be some strong viewpoints. We already see it on Facebook. So it's an opportunity for our representatives to show how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, to actually represent. Now, the hard flip side of that is even the 20%, which doesn't seem like a big number, we see who voted on that.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are against this that I know personally
Exactly.
and love and
Exactly.
respect.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into this and try to be, I think, and obviously nothing has moved forward yet on this, to put as many guardrails and restrictions and keep this as limited in scope to begin with as
Right.
we can to
Right.
see how it goes. We're not, Councilmember
Oh, it's
Feldhaus
not.
mentioned at the meeting, he'd like to see, one block off either side of the square and just,
Open it up.
opened up.
Right.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
A couple of key things, which he was even for this, and these will be some of the key things are, this is not a tailgating type of operation.
Right,
You're not
right.
bringing in any kind
Yeah.
of alcohol from outside.
You're talking about existing establishments.
You're going to have to purchase a drink from a licensed establishment, and they are on the hook just as if you were standing inside their front door. If you're standing outside their front door, they're just as liable for not over serving
Right.
you. They're held by the same ABC guidelines. And then part of the model that they're looking at is the Chattanooga model, which I've not been there, but their requirements are, which will probably would stay in this realm, is the establishment has to sell you the drink in a particular plastic cup that's clearly marked for this area. And in all likelihood, this district is not going to be the square to start with. It's going to be South Spring Street from the front corner of the glass hollow table.
Our version of Printer's Alley.
Yeah, to the back corner
Yeah.
of what will be the Glass Hollow Tavern. So you're talking
Yeah.
one block of area,
Okay.
which
All
is going to be blocked off to no vehicles, people on foot
Yeah.
only. It's basically going to be an outdoor patio. And if it were their legal property, if this was their outdoor patio, this would already be a legal process like the Mexican
Yeah,
restaurants.
well,
already
let me
have in
tell you
town.
something, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked at the
Mm.
20%. I've looked through some of the people that made the comments. The 20%, the majority of those 20% don't want the alcohol served inside either.
Right.
All right, so they don't
and we're
want
not doing
alcohol
that.
here. Period. Okay.
Right.
So that's where the split's going to be, and I
Yeah.
think here's coming from that side of it. Okay,
Yeah.
I say, all right, I had rather you, the city council, put those guidelines in place, do the will of the people. And I'd rather see you do the will of the people than to satisfy me, because we have a breakdown in representation if it happens to where you cater to the 20%. All right. Y'all do what you got to do. I'd rather see that happen, because down the road somewhere there's going to be a critical situation that's 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know y'all are going to dot your I's and cross your T's. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah.
And represent. I mean, that's what this gets down to. Forget the topic. I'm going to be opposed here. I'm going to be for there. And that's the way people fall. That's just the way it is, that we all have our opinions. But if the will of the people is to do this, that's what you have to do. And don't pay any attention to us 20%ers that don't want alcohol anywhere. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
The only thing I would argue with you against is the last time you made don't pay any attention. I think we still
right. But as far as
what we can, but we can't.
Here's the thing, Josh.
Completely shut down the operation but we can use that feedback to hopefully make this better.
Here's where you're at, though. Yeah. I understand you feel that way.
Yeah. But
80% of the people want it this way, and I have no choice. And I understand where you're coming from. But I got to vote on behalf of those. And that's really, you have to just, that 20% is kind of, I mean, it is what it is. Next, we'll win on the next battle somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But that's the part of this country that I love. Okay. And it's not that way in a lot of situations. In most situations now, the people are not being listened to. Right. Listen, as long as our representative listen to the people, whatever the outcome is, just keep listening and go in that direction. That's what makes this country great. And the here's another thing that makes it great. I get to voice my opinion even though I'm in the minority.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's my rabbit for today. Sorry.
No, that was a good rabbit trail. So, but so as far as going forward, just to mention it again, there's nothing happening immediately. The beer board is going to discuss this first. The planning commission will discuss it second. At that point, they'll make recommendations. Those recommendations may not even come this month. Yeah. They may need a couple months to discuss it. We don't have any control over either one of those bodies. So they'll have their discussion. They'll send it back to the council, where we'll then take their recommendations into account and try to form something that is safe, but also, allows the will of the people.
So there's going to have to be parameters put in place and a few changes made to certain ordinances that we have already, and then you're set to go on it.
Yeah. And the other thing is this particular stretch of road we're talking about, if you've been down it, it still isn't anywhere near ready. So I hate to give it a couple years off. Well, I don't think it's that far, but I'm hearing it's not happening this year at the rate we're moving. So I'd say this is something at least next year down the road. Okay. When it happens.
So this ordinance would probably come up in 2026 sometime.
Probably when it would take effect. Yeah. And another consideration, that just some more discussions that were had, rather than doing this, and I don't know which direction this is go. This, again, just discussion, but instead of having this 365 days a year, one other thing we may consider is having this as a special event, kind of a permit thing. So if there's a particular outdoor concert or something in this district, just have it for those days rather than just 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That may be something we also look at. And the other thing is we currently there's one this month, and I believe they have one in December. We have the wine walk on the square, which is already doing what's being discussed in this. And I asked that question.
So what's the deal?
The question, we do this already, and it's like, yeah, we just kind of look the other way. So
that's not good.
Yeah, that's not a good policy. So while we're fixing whatever we do here, we need to get some kind of a special event policy that also gets the wine walk into.
Yeah, we got to issue a whole bunch of citations now for the last how many ever years we've
done the wine. I don't think they're going to issue citations.
Just say, hey, I did that. I'll pay my fine.
But that is, something that's already been happening. Yeah. And very much falls into this whole discussion. And it's happened for years.
It's happening on Madison Street every Friday and Saturday night, too.
Well, that's a whole other. That's a whole other. I hear it happens in the Walmart parking lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it does. But, that's a different issue. It's not legal.
Right. Yeah, it's not. And they're not looking the other way.
They're not blind
cases.
eyes,
They're just, if they catch them, they do enforce that. couple other things were discussed. We're doing got an RFQ for a retail development company. It looks like for about $45,000 a year. We're going to hire one of two different retail
All
developers.
right. What is
to
an
come in.
RFQ, Josh?
We did a request for qualifications.
Okay,
Which
there
meant
we
there
go.
was, at that point, there was no money discussed. They just looked at their qualifications
Right.
and they scored them. They had a scale. The one scored higher. I believe it was retail strategy scored higher. So we're going to vote on that next week as far as whether to bring them in. We had them one other time before at $25,000 a year, but they were on a limited basis because they had a non-compete with Tullahoma at that time.
Okay.
That non-compete has
So-
gone away, so they could provide their full services for a year.
So in 2026, man, we're going to have retail stores popping up all over this place. Is that right?
That would be the concept, because if not, we may not renew that contract the second year. So that's the whole point. Yeah, we don't
Good
pay them
luck.
$45,000 a year not to do anything. So
Okay.
yeah, and if all they bring in is coffee shops, also probably not renewing the contract. So,
I don't see how there's any vacancy for those, Josh, at this
I
point.
think we got a fair number of coffee shops. Southern Cup, go get your Southern Cup.
Southern Cup is it.
Last thing that I want to talk about, anyways, from this meeting was we're voting as well, and likely will be forming an employee benefits committee, which is going to start meeting late in September. We're looking at the biggest thing that brought this on, and I kind of was a little bit the catalyst for this as well. Our insurance costs, we've talked about this before, for the city of Shelbyville, 10%, basically right at 10% of our total budget is spent on insurance for employees. And that is the item that has not gone out for bid or RFQ or RFP or RF anything in years. So we're going to at least look at it. And then there's also been a strong push from within, from staff, that they would like to see us move to I believe the acronym is TCRS, the State Retirement Program, which is what most municipalities, it's what Bedford County employees run, it's what most county and city employees run in the state. It allows for ease of shifting of employees between different entities, and it might help us in recruiting a little bit. So we're going to look at that as well. Last meeting I went to this week was Wednesday morning. For the first time ever, I went to the E911 board. And if I had known how the E911 board operated, I would have gone earlier in my board career. They have food there. So, who knew? They were sitting around eating lunch. So, also, this is one that's not live streamed or recorded or anything. So this is an 11 o'clock meeting. I think they called it to order about 11:35. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's kind of a casual, laid back meeting.
And you got to eat.
There was two kinds of pasta. There was
Oh,
salad.
wow, that's impressive.
it was,
Okay,
it was
all right,
nice.
so-
So it was nice. A couple things were mentioned at this meeting. Work is underway on the new 911 comm center. I believe they were going to be pouring a foundation as early as this coming week. 911 board is sitting on $4.3 million in their checking account.
So where does that money come from?
Finances are good. They have two sources of revenue. There is on most phone bills, even cell phone bills, there's a 911 surcharge on there.
Okay, so we're paying it through our phone bill.
That goes
Okay.
to the 911 board. And then their dispatching costs are currently paid through the county budget. The county is paying.
County budget is
The
paying.
county is
Okay.
paying for the dispatching. So yeah, so it's about half and half. They did mention they are in charge of new addresses in the county, which would
Right.
make sense, since when you call 911, then you know where you're at.
Exactly.
You know where you're at. So they've had 169 new addresses year to date. But they said, in what is a very unusual flipping of the numbers, only 62 of those are within the city limits. So normally it's twice as much in the city. So they've actually had more addresses come online in the county this year. They're
Right.
not sure why. They said maybe there's just some new subdivisions that haven't quite come online yet, and that number should flip. But they just thought that was unusual. And then, since these are the emergency people, I did get some more info on the TACAN radios. We're not going to be specific on what they said, because just in case things change a little bit. But the TACAN radios that we've talked about for months now are due to go online this coming week. Knock on wood. So everything is ready. I've seen the radios. I saw them doing a training, I think, the week before. So this coming week, we're going digital in the county. So that's
You say that
that's the
with
word.
confidence.
Everybody seemed confident.
Okay.
I've seen actual radios and actual vehicles. I've seen handhelds. They're out there. They're out in the fields. So
Okay, so this
they're
is
flipping the
September.
switch.
This is September. the grandstanding took place in March, and we're getting it done by September. That's not terrible. I'm just wondering where we would be if there wasn't that incident in March.
We'll never know. So,
I got a sneaking suspicion we'd probably be still sitting here wondering.
maybe we will not know. But
It's just kind of the way things work.
they are, and because I knew that TACN thing was about to come online, I asked the question at our city council meeting. We're waiting to hear back on a grant for the city fire department to put them on TACN. And they told me they expect to hear back the end of this month. So we may have something to report on the city starting to move to digital, a different version of digital as early as the end of this month. So,
Yeah.
But with that was it. Kind of a short week on meetings. Not a whole lot of meetings going on. Got a ton of meetings next week.
I see that, Josh. Your lineup is pretty. Your schedule is pretty tight.
I have
this
got
week.
such a full week this coming week. But before we get into that, maybe we could hear from our sponsors.
Yeah, let's hear from our sponsors, Dennis Young Insurance and Leverage Power Washing. We'll be right back to cover what's coming up next week.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty. Thank you to our two fine sponsors, and we just don't appreciate them enough.
We do
Dennis
appreciate
Young,
them.
we do, but we
Yes.
don't talk about them enough, Josh.
Yeah.
Dennis Young Insurance, he's got a fantastic business, been in business for so long, and it serves so many people, and he also cares about Bedford County. And
He
the
does a
city
lot of
of
stuff out in the
Shelbyville.
community.
Yes.
I see him as a sponsor on everything that's important, all kinds of nonprofit things. His name's all over everything.
Yep.
So-
Leverage Power Washing on the video. The
Yeah.
before and after pictures are amazing. I've experienced it up hand and personal. Give them a call if you
Yes.
need any type of cleaning, power wash, whether it's your siding, your gutters. He'll clean gutters. He'll do your driveway, your sidewalk. Man, he'll clean anything you put in front of him.
Whatever you got,
Yeah,
he'll
exactly.
clean it.
Well, thank
He'll
you
clean
for
it.
our sponsors. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, what we got coming up?
Upcoming week. I have a very busy week. I don't even think I put everything on here. Currently right now, which I don't know how well it's going because I'm hearing raindrops over top of my head, but there has been scheduled for a long time, and I plan on going after the show here just to see what happened. But there's a Veterans Fair going on at the Music City Cartplex today from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Problem with that being it was all outdoors.
Yeah,
so I know
that's-
they're bringing tents, but that's rain never helps an event like that. Monday, we have the city pre-planning meeting in the morning. And then immediately following that is the city growth committee meeting where there will be a discussion of parking and overlays, I'm told. So we'll find out what's happening there and talk about that next week. Immediately following that meeting, actually, I'm going to have to leave that meeting early because we are having a special called Railroad Authority meeting Monday morning. And this is about the Blue Railroad Bridge that runs over the bypass
yeah.
right next to Railroad Avenue. There was a discussion, even in a vote has happened already from the county I think it happened at the Rules Committee, to rename that bridge to something to the effect of the Senator Jim Tracy overpass, which is a great idea. From what I don't know Senator Tracy at all, but I hear he did great things for the county.
Yeah.
The bad part of the idea, from my viewpoint, was it's a railroad bridge going over a state highway. I'm not sure the county had a whole lot of input over what the name was. So the decision was made, how about having the Railroad Authority vote on that? So the Railroad Authority is going to vote on having that bridge renamed, which I think that'll pass unanimously. But I just think that's the more appropriate place to name a railroad bridge is at the Railroad Authority. So that's going to happen Monday morning. Tuesday evening, we got the county commission meeting. didn't see anything too crazy on that agenda, although they're going to also vote on the same bridge and just, I guess,
Say yes.
say yes. Wednesday, all throughout the day, got my Cooper Steel hat on today. They
I
are
see
having
that.
their TIP Strategies is back in town from Texas, and they're having a series of meetings again as they're working on this report. I don't know what we're exactly calling it, but basically a game plan for the next 50 years for Shelbyville and Bedford County, how to grow economically, things we could do to help overall in the city and the county. So those meetings will be going on all day Wednesday, a number of those scheduled. Wednesday evening, the city beer board is meeting. I've not seen that agenda, so I don't know if they're going to have time to get the Riverview Entertainment District on there, but I'll be watching that to see if they do, because that will be the first time we'd hear some more discussion of that. And then Thursday is the city council meeting, and we will have a number of votes, nothing too crazy. Basically, the stuff we just talked about that happened at the study session, except there will be no discussion or vote on the Riverview District of that, just in case anybody thinks, so I need to come and speak on that during public comment. They wouldn't even allow it because it's not on the agenda. So
will this fireworks ordinance be?
fireworks ordinance will be on there
this
if you
one.
have something.
So based some of the stuff that you
Some of the
went
stuff
on.
we talked about,
All
all
right.
these grants will be on there. Yeah, if you have some feedback on the fireworks ordinance, I believe the ticker across the bottom of the screen has my cell phone number on it. Shoot me a text anytime. If not, josh.blevins@shelbyvilletn.org, I believe, is my city email address. You can also find it on the city website. Love to hear from constituents any point at any time that have some feedback on, what's going on in the city. And all 6 city council members, their email addresses are right there on the city website. We'd all love to hear
Yep.
from you. So,
All right.
and with that, that is more than enough meetings. I've actually, I think, got 2 or 3 more that I don't even have on that rundown. So there is a lot going
Josh,
on
I
this
don't know
week.
how you keep up with it.
Oh, it's going to be a fun week.
I know.
It's going to be a fun week. It's kind of boring this week. There's only 3 meetings. So.
Boring. Okay.
Boring.
Just 3.
Just
Wow. Okay.
Just
Well,
3.
Well, a lot happened in those meetings.
A lot happened, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on still in the city and county. And but we'll be back here next week, same place, same time, same channel, and talk about all of it. Hopefully,
And probably
So,
chase a rabbit.
we may chase around. Too. It happens. So.
Thanks for watching, guys. And again, thanks for our sponsors. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.